Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for the later times watching. Exciting match today. We have Indonesia versus Malaysia, as Mr. JB mentioned as well. We do have 3 matches running in synchronous with this one. The Italy versus Netherlands match, Australia, Vietnam, and Taiwan, Turkey, all at the exact same time, this 13 UTC block here.
Yes, clearly there's some kind of lucky time that everyone wanted to reschedule to the exact same time, which is a bit unfortunate for us that we can't show you them all at once. But yeah, it's all about the players and when works best for them. They've all got to get their best chance of going through to future rounds, so please understand.
Lucky or unlucky, we will have a streamed match here today, and hopefully a lot of these other teams will have a chance to get streamed on one of the other weekends. This is a double elimination tournament, and as such, they will have a losers bracket potential match to get streamed if they do in fact find themselves losing to their opponent this week. Indonesia's generally been a pretty strong team in the tournament. They got knocked out in semifinals last year by China. Knocked down to the losers bracket in the round of 16. Of course, that was back when we ran group stages. They have generally kind of been, one of the mid-tier teams in this tournament. They've only made one roster switch this year. They actually switched out Soliloquy for Urabe Mikoto this year. And then Malaysia had a little bit of a rough run the past couple of years. They went 0-3 in groups last year. They did not end up qualifying for the round of 16 in the tournament. Generally similar to Indonesia, knocked around semifinals to quarterfinals. They do have only one player, or rather 2 players, or one player returning this year. One of the 2, Astroloki, is the only returning player this year, and Murutek is actually back as well. However, he's not the captain this year. They've opted to switch.
Yeah, a lot of the Team Malaysia players have been in CWCs before, but they've had a very kind of flux team where players have been in, been out, haven't played for quite a long time. Quite a dangerous team in their day. They've always had a little bit of potential to upset stronger teams, but they haven't quite advanced as quickly as some of the other teams around them, unfortunately. Indonesia, very, very strong team, as Chilia mentioned. Hidden, definitely one of their strongest suits. Dika completely destroyed qualifiers, the best performing player according to the wonderful statistics in the qualifiers, so definitely a player to watch out for. I think Malaysia did win the roll with a 45 to 30 something or other. Indonesia banning first, getting rid of No Mod 1. Very sensible. A lot of the stronger teams have been banning the No Mod 1 pick. Very consistency focused, quite a simple map that everyone should be fairly comfortable with. So just taking that little bit of a coin flip emphasis off the table early. Malaysia, for their part, getting rid of Hidden 2, the converted pick along fall. So no Final Fantasy 14 cat jamming going to be going on there, unfortunately. And Hard Rock 2 is going to be the pick coming in. Monolithia, Fractal Dreamers.
Good strong pick for these 2 teams to start off here. Of course, the ban's a little bit sensible, as you mentioned. A lot of these early stages with slightly more consistency favored maps really requires a lot of focus and a lot of control at the beginning, rather than that raw skill ceiling that we look for a lot of the time. And as such, very much contested picks going to be banned out, rather than specific kind of niches that fill each individual player here. And Indonesia going to hope to start off strong on their first pick here on Fractal Dreamers Monolithia. Just over 3 minutes long here. See if we can get the rosters set up for both teams here. Do we think we have any expectations of maybe a couple sit-in players on some of these early rounds? Sometimes we do see teams opting to put in their stronger players for, all or almost all of the maps, just to keep some consistency across rosters here.
I think the captain Astroloki is highly likely to play nearly everything, because he will be very helpful in focusing his team, bringing in the players that maybe haven't played in a little while or haven't ever played in a World Cup before, trying to get them all on the same wavelength as playing as a team. Indonesia have a little bit more leeway because they have such a kind of favored matchup. They are a much stronger team. They achieved much higher placement in seedings, coming in 4th. I think they might feel fairly comfortable using this as a way to give all of their players a little bit of an experience of all the different mod pools and brackets that they might come into contact with later on. and they'll still feel reasonably comfortable that they can kind of reliably pick up points.
Well, that'll be good for them, and we'll get into our first pick here. We'll see how both of these teams are feeling today. Generally, on paper, in terms of what we're looking at for this map here, is a slightly stronger Indonesia team, not necessarily speaking as a team on these early stages, but it is their own pick. It's their opening pick of the round of 32 here. They're looking for something strong to get themselves up on the board without much contention from Malaysia. And I think that given past performances, they're going to look pretty good on this as David Beth finds a early miss along with loot.
Yeah, kind of hard rock patterning in catch has this kind of annoying tendency to slightly displace notes to either the left or the right at almost random. It'll be the same every time you play the same map, but there's no kind of indication if you've never seen a map before whether a note is going to be displaced or not. And there was a stack there where the first note in the stack got shifted quite a long way to the left, which made a strong hyperdash into a sharp little tap dash back to the right that caught some of the Malaysia players out.
Oh, unfortunate. At the start of the map here, David Be, Astroloki finding another couple misses here. Loot also found one just prior. Malaysia not looking too hot on the hard rock pick here. Of course, Astroloki also running hidden with that little slight added extra difficulty for him there. Dika and Urabe Mikoto both looking really good on this one. Nanamaru just dropping combo once on there. It's going to be right back into things right now, putting up just over 350. So no issues for Indonesia right now, halfway through the map. Looking very strong, very clean on this first pick here.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why Astroloki opted to add hidden here. He's not a player who kind of religiously plays with hidden. Maybe this is just a particular map where hidden is a bit more kind of comfy reading for him. David Bear and Loot both struggling a little bit to build that combo back up. As you said, Netamaru back well above that 200 combo after an early miss. Dika and Urabe Mikoto both holding on to double S. During the break, the players are able to see the scores of the opponents if they have the kind of overlays enabled, and they'll see that, as hoped for and expected for their first pick, very comfortable advantage for Team Indonesia right now.
Extremely comfortable. The score gap continuing to grow. We're pushing that 500,000 score difference between the two teams here now. Quarter of the way left in the map to go. And yeah, you did mention definitely Astroloki, not normally someone who favors towards hidden. Any number of things not comfortable in the pick itself. Mind block from practicing something too much. You really never know what can happen there. But Dika is going to be finding a miss for Indonesia here. Not really going to matter at this point, unfortunately, for Malaysia. Indonesia far too much in the lead. And Urabe Mikoto going to be bringing this one into the finish here with the hidden hard rock. Has not missed anything yet. No droplets, no anything. Nice and slow outro here. Continuing into the finish, and with that we have, after a couple more misses from Malaysia, the final score of the first map. Very, very decent score gap between the two teams. Extremely confident play from Urabe Mikoto to start off this match, as we go off to a very solid rolling start for Indonesia here. Malaysia going to try to respond with their first pick here.
Yeah, Dika a little bit of a kind of struggled towards the very end there, but by that point there was no problem at all that Indonesia had that one secured. Urabe Mikoto very clean with that double S there on the side of Indonesia. Very confident victory for their first point. Exactly what you want from your first pick in the tournament, to know that you kind of chose the right thing. You're all feeling very comfortable. You know what you like. And Malaysia have to go decide now, do they pick something that they feel very confident on, despite knowing that Indonesia are probably also very confident on? These two teams, both as a team, as a whole, very comfortable on hidden. Although Malaysia opting to ban hidden 2 was a bit surprising. There is still one hidden pick left available.
Well, slightly longer pick in your own Kakeru as well. Again, you kind of go back to some of those more consistency favored maps when you get to the really long ones there. I think that might fall under the distinction there. It's always kind of a 50-50 on whether or not these teams like to go for at the beginning of these matches. You have the one side of things where you really, depending on what kind of team you are, you want to go for the picks that your opponent is not necessarily super strong on, which do come less frequently in these early stages rather than the picks that you are going to be super strong on. Some people seem to assume that Malaysia is going for the hidden one. They're going to be going for the Nomad 2. Instead, it's going to be Sysmix Pure Gint.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. David Best saying, are we playing hidden? And then Loot immediately says, no, we're not playing hidden.
Yeah, no desire to play hidden on the first map of the day here. Understandable.
So yeah, Nomad 2 going to be coming in. Quite a technical, interesting pick. One of our custom maps that we've obviously been cheering our custom map pool team very much throughout the tournament so far. Like lower BPM, slightly lower approach rate as well. Lots of strong hyper dashes into like high slider velocities, so making sure that you're not panking droplets, and also lots of wiggling as well, which is very well suited to low BPM. So much more of a technical pick than some of the other no-mod options that are available.
A lot of teams having quite a bit of trouble on this in some of the matches yesterday. Really, again, like you mentioned, a very technical pick doesn't come quite as easily to our stronger players as someone might like it to, especially for a round of 32 matchup here, when the pools are, still relatively comfortable for players of this caliber here. So we'll see if Indonesia and Malaysia fare slightly better than some of the teams yesterday on this. Eyes on Malaysia right now, of course, being their first pick of the match. They would like to start this one off strong. A breakpoint to go at the beginning of the match here would not be something that they want, but we'll find out in just over 2 minutes. We'll get the rosters locked in here. Kagari gonna have a little bit of trouble loading into this one. We're gonna get him right in as we start the map. And there we go. Start off at Nomad 2. Big roster switches for both of the teams here. So we'll be seeing a new set of players on both sides. Completely different experience from that first map on Hard Rock.
Yeah, Dika, the only player who's kind of retained from either side. Otherwise, entirely new, 5 completely different players. So Malaysia gone for a complete roster swap here.
Well, it's working out better for them so far. Oh, and as I said, unfortunately, Kagari gonna find an early break. Won't matter too much in the grand scheme of things if he's able to recover well from that, but they are going to have to hope from a break from Indonesia at some point.
Marut attack caught out there. You can see just as they start the Ki, there's a hyper dash into a really high slider velocity, and he just tried to dash away a little bit too early to preempt that, and unfortunately missed the hyper entirely. So that created quite a few misses there. Kagari also with a couple of drops during the Ki as they come to halfway. Ricky still with the double S, but a triple double S still riding strong on Team Indonesia.
Very strong from them. Not the situation you want to see out of Malaysia here. Kagari, Muru attack both sub 200 combo right now. Significant amount of breaks. Kagari, I believe, is on 2 or 3, and then of course you had a little bit of a misstep from Muru attack there. Not an advantageous point, especially on a shorter pick like this, being just over 2 minutes. Kagari, unfortunately, completely going to miss section there. Proneko gonna find a break for Indonesia, but as we've seen here so far, just a slightly stronger overall roster from Indonesia as Ricky finds a break as well.
Yeah, so no FCs remaining on the side of Team Malaysia now. The score gap is growing quite a bit. Marut attack built up a nice combo there as Dika, not someone I was expecting to be dropping on many of these round of 32 picks, does break combo. Madoka Ayukawa still holding on to that double S. Kagari taking another couple of drops there as well, but this one is definitely well in favor of Team Indonesia again.
Very strong for them. Madoka Ayukawa gonna bring it into the finish with the double S here, and there it is. Very strong performance. Again, Indonesia just consistently having one player on the roster in for each of these picks that is super confident, super comfortable on these opening points here, and that's just the advantage. That's giving them a slight edge over Malaysia in this match. Malaysia not doing too terribly here, maybe 1 or 2 breaks on 2 of their players here and there, but it's enough combo drops to lose that potential score gain that they would be getting. Of course, every time you drop combo, it's just more and more lost there. So really looking for less of those slight mistakes here, just some more consistent performances overall. And I think this is just a difference of Indonesia having a slightly stronger 3-person roster for each of these picks.
Yeah, not only that, but Indonesia are a team that even take the kind of earlier stages of these tournaments very seriously. some teams take a while to kind of build, where their skill ceiling takes a while to be reached. Indonesia have a high skill ceiling, but also perform really well right out of the gate and immediately get into that high gear. So as a team that is trying to maybe take points off of a stronger seed, Indonesia are one of the harder ones to do, because they don't kind of not necessarily take group and now round of 32 stages that seriously, and if you're strategizing and playing really well and you tactically choose, you might be able to score a point off them here or there. Unfortunately, they are one of those teams that you just have to straight up be better than them if you want to take a point off them.
Well, definitely do see that trend a lot, especially in Catch World Cup and, a lot of the other World Cups or even community tournaments. You've got those early stage teams. They really come in here. They know what they're doing. Like you mentioned, they practice. They all the preparation that you need to do. They get their sleep before the match. They get breakfast, dinner, whatever you need to do. Players are ready for these early stage maps in here, and they're going to be going in for the hidden one next. Not super surprising given what we've been talking about for Indonesia here, just a slightly more consistent team at these early stage matchups here, being a little over 4 minutes here, and fairly comfortable BPM as well. There's really not going to be too much to slip up on if you're going to be, if having practiced this and you're feeling good on everything today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Indonesia currently 2-0 to the good against Malaysia. To bring you what's going on in our other matches, Italy currently 2-0 up against the Netherlands. We've seen some hidden and some mixed mod. Australia, same scoreline against Vietnam, some hidden and some double time. And Taiwan also currently 2-0 up against Turkey, having seen double time and hard rock. So a little bit of variety, but 2-0 scorelines all across the board in the matches that are happening at the moment.
Well played to the teams up with 2 points now. Very unfortunate to lose a break point that early for our other half of teams. However, still 3 points to go in order to win in all of these matchups here. Of course, being a round of 32, we are only looking at a best of 9 here. So not a whole lot of room for mistakes. You let up 1 break point, it's kind of okay. Once you start getting to maybe 2 break points, you're in a dangerous position here. So we're going to keep an eye on all of our other matches, especially this one up on the stream right now. See what's going to happen with this second pick here. Indonesia in a bit of an advantageous position. They're going to be able to get up to 3 points here if they're able to take their own pick. No break point necessary. Malaysia really going to look to try and prevent the consolidated break point this early on in the match. See what happens here. We had a little bit of a struggle with the hidden hard rock on Astro Loki on some of these opening picks here. Not going to be doing too hot at the start of hidden 1 as well. Unfortunately, going to find a very early break here. Sub 200 combo, not going to be the end of the world again, and a longer map. So there are room for mistakes here. Assuming, however, that Indonesia does make mistakes as Ricky also finds a break.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that you have to kind of hang all your hopes on the opponents making a mistake, and Indonesia being a team that, especially in early stages, do not often make mistakes, but you have to at very least be in a position to capitalize on those mistakes if and when they do happen.
Just so confident, and again, it's not, it's not even the case of you need to be the best player in the lobby right now. It's just you need to be better than somebody on the opposing team, and unfortunately the early breaks, and again another combo drop unfortunately for Ricky, is going to lose a little bit more there. Again, score gap is going to start to pull to the side of Indonesia, as we have seen absolutely no mistakes from them. We're going to approach the halfway point in the map after this Ki here, and rather this big chorus, and we'll see what happens after that. But given the fact that this map doesn't really have any extreme difficulty spikes in it, again, very consistent, we mentioned, you really got to hope for just some unfortunate slip-up from Indonesia, but given how they've been playing so far, that is asking quite a bit.
Yeah, this map's very much a slow burner. It does increase in difficulty very gradually throughout the choruses as we get further along, but the kind of watchword is definitely consistency about how kind of good can you maintain your catcher control, especially when nerves are building for Malaysia, kind of thinking like, can we get a point anywhere? Indonesia, for their kind of side, not a team that would feel particularly nervous on a group stage or a round of 32 map, precisely because they practice them. extensively and are a very strong team early on. But yep, like everyone has their day, and whether it's practice or nerves or technical difficulties that can introduce breaks. But like I said, you've got to be there to capitalize on them. But if your opponent's not making a mistake, then all you can really do is say we tried our best. And Indonesia right now, they don't look like mistake is a word that even exists in their vocabulary. That's a triple double S still right now.
Very strong from them on the hidden one here. Really, absolutely nothing you can do about this. Very unfortunate for Malaysia. Muru attack looking really good on this pick again here. Just a couple little droplet misses. Low Wind actually going to be finding a break from Indonesia. Unfortunately, Ricky and Astro Loki are going to find breaks to trade it at the exact same section. Muru attack looking very strong for Malaysia right now. Unfortunately, the one-person show is not going to be quite enough against this Indonesia team today as we approach these last couple seconds.
They all got caught out a little bit by kind of strong hyperdash into a sharp direction change. You're like thinking like, oh, I need to change direction because this next one's a strong motion. But you end up dashing away from that slider tail just a bit too quickly, unfortunately. As you said, Muratatak doing really, really well here with just, I think, a single droplet miss in that 1200 combo. Lewind building back up, Astro Loki doing the same, but Ricky, just as he was getting up to 200 combo, missing again. Muratatak does finally drop. No full combos remaining on the side of Team Malaysia now.
Very unfortunate for Muratatak. I was hoping we'd see a full combo from one of the Malaysian players today, but it was not meant to be. As we finish the map here, still a very respectable scoreline between the two teams here, a little bit closer than what we've seen on some of the previous picks here. But again, it's just Indonesia having such a strong roster on all of these maps so far. At least one double S on one player through the first two picks here, and we're actually going to see two on the hidden one here. So an extremely confident pick to consolidate the breakpoint against Malaysia. And now we're going to kind of start to hit the do or die point here. This is where Malaysia really needs to turn things around a little bit. They're going to need a strong pick in order to get themselves right back into this match where they need to be.
Yeah, so the saving grace for Malaysia right now is that with one hidden pick and one ban, there's no more hidden exclusively remaining in the mod pool. They could still see some hidden in that mixed mod pool you can see down there, Mapletown Memories and Happy, where at least one player will have to choose hidden. So yeah, there's one hard rock, 3 double time untouched by either team just yet, and then 2 no mod, which are both converted OS mode difficulties.
Well, we'll see what they end up going for here. Hidden pool is gone. Nothing to worry about in terms of being forced to play the hidden modification anymore. They ended up going for the no mod 2 to start, so maybe something a little bit more technically intensive for them if they're going to look for that route, or maybe because of the unfortunate loss of their first point, they're going to take it a completely different direction for their second pick here. Again, plenty of maps left in the pool. There's really not too much to worry about. A lot of variation here. Looks like they are still looking... Oh, nope, I see it. There we go.
Yeah,
I was like,
Astro Loki, Astro Loki rolling 2. I think that was simulating a coin flip between 2 potential picks, maybe, and they ended up with the 2, which is going to be the mixed mod 1. So we were talking about mixed mod. It's new to the Catch World Cup this year. If you've ever seen free mod pools in a tournament before, it's very similar, except in free mod, any number of players can pick any combination of hidden, hard rock, no mod. In mixed mod, one player must have no mod, one hidden, and then one hard rock. So it's a little bit more restrictive in what combinations you can go with. You can't straight up beat a team just because you all choose hard rock and they don't.
Yeah, we'll call it force mod if you wanted to, I guess, have another way of thinking about it. You are required as a team to have the, of course, mixture of all the modifications possible here, and see how that fares for Malaysia here. Again, they've looked, it's kind of an interesting route for them on a pick like this. They really didn't look super strong on their hard rock players on the opening hard rock pick here. And on the hidden map, they did look a little bit better. So I guess in terms of your mod players here, you're really hoping that you have one person that's just super strong on a pick like this with their desired route here. They've been looking pretty good on anything no mod today. There really hasn't been too many major slip-ups, but it's definitely been the modification-oriented picks here that have slipped them up. So an interesting route, again, to go for the mixed mod here, but hopefully they're more confident on it than what they have shown on some of the previous picks here.
Yeah, the interesting thing about mixed mod from a strategy perspective is you don't necessarily need 3 players all to be good at a particular mod. Like if only one person on your team is good at hidden and one person is good at hard rock, then maybe mixed mod is actually something that works out a lot better for you, rather than having 3 people who all had to play hidden, but only one of those people would consider themselves like a main on that particular mod.
Exactly. It gives you the advantage of putting your strongest player on that mod in for that, and then you don't have to worry about someone else struggling on it. Although it is interesting to note that despite Astro Loki's performance on Hidden in this match, he does opt to go in for it. A very different styled pick here, though, so I guess he's just getting touch bases on all the areas here today. But Madoka Ayukawa running the Hidden on Indonesia, as well as Netamaru on the Hard Rock, and then Luke is going to be running the Hard Rock for Malaysia today. Kagari on the No Mod. Smart thing here, you do see a lot of the more confident players running the no modification here just for maybe a guaranteed, full combo or double S on something potentially here. Astro Loki again gonna find the first break of the map on the Hidden here. Interesting, and this is kind of what I was worried about here. It has not been feeling too good on all these Hidden picks today, so to throw him in on something like a multi-mod here with Hidden is not something that Malaysia maybe wanted to do.
Well, as the captain, this might be kind of a strategy thing where he feels that Hidden going forward is going to be the pick that he's going to have to contest the most. So best get some tournament experience in it in a match that you're maybe not necessarily that favored to do that well in anyway. A lot of these weaker teams will be kind of hopefully strategizing as this week doesn't necessarily mean that much, but next week we'll have a much closer match which we should really focus on.
Absolutely, that is the desirable position here as Malaysia finds 3 breaks. Indonesia continues to hold the double S's on all 3 players here, really not looking too hot for them. And I think we're about to see what is most likely going to be a second break point. Astro Loki going to find 1 more break there. And we're going to approach the last quarter of the map after a couple more seconds. Not a super long pick, but not a short one as well. Just enough time for a couple of breaks to make the difference, of course, having no full combos on any player. And that is the pause section right here with a quarter of the way left to go. Just over 268,000 score.
So coming into the final kind of chorusy type section at the end here, we've got some little repeat slider sections that are going to become quite difficult to wiggle with Hard Rock, so keep your eyes on Loot and Netamaru, the 2 screens at the top there, to see some of that wiggling. Very, very nice from both players, but Astro Loki, Kagari, and also now Loot also dropping, so huge team drop there at the end for Malaysia. Wasn't going to be a difference maker anyway, but regardless, a little bit unfortunate for them at the end. Indonesia, for their part, just the one miss for Lewind towards the end that we missed there, but Madoka Ayukawa and Netamaru both coming in with a double S. As expected, Indonesia consistency game looking real strong.
Very, very strong as they continue this performance into a 4-0 lead. Malaysia, unfortunately, just not finding any open spots here to fit a point in. And unfortunately for them as well, they're going to be looking for a break point in order to prevent Indonesia from running away with the win on this match. While we've got 1 point left, we might as well update you on some of the other matches here. Australia versus Vietnam. Vietnam has managed to take a point against Australia for a 4-1 score lead in favor of Australia now. Italy versus Netherlands. Italy is up 3-1. Netherlands was also able to grab a pick. And Taiwan, Turkey, also 3-1. Turkey grabbing 1 point against them here. So we've got slightly closer matches on the other hand here. And then still looking for Malaysia. Again, one little gap in the defenses for Indonesia here. And they might be able to grab one, but unfortunately, slightly less than optimal position on an Indonesia pick.
Yeah, while we wait to discover what the last potentially pick is going to be, just want to go back to that Vietnam-Australia match you were talking about. 4-1 the scoreline. But on Mixed Mod 2, Australia won by 2,300 points. So that is kind of... So there was 2 players that on both parties that FC'd, the third player on both sides, 1 4 miss and 1 5 miss. So very, very unlucky for Vietnam.
Wow. Very unfortunate for them. So looking potentially to take some more picks here. It is to be noted that Vietnam actually did take a break point against Australia to get their first point on the board. So a strong performance in order to get that there. We are going to see our final pick, potentially, of our Indonesia-Malaysia match here, unless Malaysia is able to make a little bit of a switch here. It's going to be Happy Time Wa'orinai, the cut version, of course, the full version being significantly longer for a double time pick.
Yeah, so this I think is a little bit of a surprising choice. Double time coming out of Indonesia. Not necessarily because I think that they're an excellent double time team. They're perfectly serviceable at the mod. I think that with it not having been played, they just want to get a little bit of kind of experience in the fingers for double time and how the catcher feels in preparation for future matches. And I don't think that they will have any trouble getting a good enough score to beat Malaysia. Not a country known particularly for double time.
Well, maybe they'll make that change starting in this match, the beginning of a new era. And as I say that, unfortunately, Kagari finding slight under move there. Ricky gonna find a break as well. Again, opting for the hidden on Astroloki and Ricky here. Again, they're really just trying to perfect the hidden modification in this match at all costs. Astroloki doing a little bit better on the hidden than he has on previous picks, which is good to see. The only full combo left on his team as Kagari finds one more break here, going up against, again, another 2 double S's on the Indonesian side here.
Dika finding a drop there for Team Indonesia, but it's traded by 2 misses, Astroloki and Ricky on the side of Malaysia.
Well, unfortunately for Malaysia, Astroloki was their only player left who had not broken combo yet, so slightly more effective miss from them here. Urabe Mikoto just dropping a couple droplets here as Kroneko finds a break in the combo, but it's right at the ending of the map as we go into the final spinner here, and that is going to be it. Indonesia 5-0 over Malaysia, an absolutely dominant performance from them, looking fantastic as a team today.
Yeah, so definitely to be expected for early stages. Indonesia coming out strong. Very few occasions where any kind of player missed more than one time, and I think at least somebody FC'd in every single pick of the 5 that they played, which is fantastic for them. Malaysia, the scoreline says 5-0, but I think they can be a little bit more happy with their performance than that suggests. It's given them a lot of evidence of where they need to practice and what they might end up picking into their round of 16 losers bracket encounter next week. As we said, double elimination tournament, so no team that loses today will be out of the tournament for good. But there it is, Indonesia who'll be remaining in the winners bracket. You can see them on screen right now, so congratulations